Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode from the Multitools and Blades channel. Today we're going to have a look at something a little bit different but still multi-tool related. This is the Pro Tech Toolkit by a company called iFixit. I use this frequently to clean my multi-tools when I purchase them secondhand on eBay or Etsy. There's a few little things that stand out that make this different from all the other competition. Do you see these little magnets down here? There's 4 on each corner and that's just what keeps the lid onto the base. I've had many kits like this before and most of the time the plastic case breaks. When the lid's flipped over, it doubles as a parts holder. All these little separators, good for holding things like pivot screws or scale screws. If you're taking the knife apart to clean it, it's good to keep everything where they should be. The last thing you want to do is lose pieces of a knife. This little driver gets the most work out. It's made of solid aluminium. There's a nice little blue palm pivot that spins around freely. It fits all of the 1/8 attachments. Because it's solid aluminium, it has a really nice sturdy feel to it. I've had many of these kits before, and most of these are plastic. This is my first aluminium one and it feels like it can do a solid job. If this looks familiar to you, you might have seen it on the Nick Shabazz channel. He uses it quite frequently in his videos. If you don't know who Nick Shabazz is, make sure you check out his channel in the description below. There's one little bit in here that I didn't know was missing from my life until I got this, and it's the magnet. I often use it with this extension arm. It's great for reaching into tight little places. Don't mind this gaping big hole in the side. I misused this and that's another story in itself. Reminds me of the old saying to match the tool to the job, not the job to the tool. Did I get that right or is it the other way around? Anyway, by attaching all 3 here together, you can pretty much reach into anywhere. My only gripe with this is how easy it pops out, which led to the whole thing being stuck inside of an engine casing. I've had other magnets on sticks before, usually the telescopic ones, but they're not flexible, so it's sometimes really hard to get to the fiddly places. It's something you don't appreciate until you actually have it. Put everything back so I don't lose it. Which way do you go in? So everything I've shown you can be purchased as the basic kit, but if you get the Pro Tech kit, you get these extra parts. iFixit is part of the right to repair movement, so all these parts are really for fixing iPhones and such. While I have used this to fix my son's Nintendo screen and other similar related electronics, I mainly use this to clean my multi-tools, especially the older stuff with wood fibre handles that I can't run through the ultrasonic cleaner. This one for an example is a favourite. It's a nice thin little scalpel there that fits between the liners. And we have a little hook at this end here that can just get underneath the pivot, especially on those older knives that you can't take apart. I'll just use my hand here as a background so you can see a bit better. Next we have another tool from the same family, one with a nice sharp point. And I'm sure this flat blade has a very specific purpose, but again, just works well for cleaning out gunk. And the plastic's really hard too, so I've used this quite a bit and you can see there's not really much bending or damage to the tool. Occasionally I have to do some small repairs if I have a bent liner or something, and that's when I use this metal spatula. You could use your imagination of what you could use that for, but you can see that they're not bent or anything, so they've held up really well. Next we have some precision tweezers, nice and sharp. I do have a set of professional dermalogical tweezers. I do prefer to use those, but these will do as part of the kit. There's another set of tweezers here, the same as this one but straight. It's set right here, but I must have misplaced them. Now, this is a fun little tool, reverse set of tweezers. It's like a soft pair of drawers that you can hold onto small screws, things you need to work on. You just use it like a small vise. Used to have 2 pointier heads, but I just broke them off because I just needed something more flat. In hindsight, maybe I should have just unscrewed them and put something else in there. These are just some plastic wedges, more for use for taking screens off. I haven't really had a need to use them, but I'm quite sure, like everything else in this pack, it's made of good quality and it will work as intended. This little device here is for pulling screens, so if you put a suction cap on a screen and then you can just lift it up or reattach it or whatever you need to do. I haven't had a chance to use that yet. And these things are little plastic pry bars, although the plastic's a little bit softer than the black plastic that I showed before. One of the things I really love about iFixit is if you damage any of the tools or lose them, you can purchase each individual part separately. And lastly, we have one of these anti-static cables for electronics. I know a lot of this stuff isn't got anything to do with multi-tools, but if you're like me and you like fidgeting with little things, it's always good to have kits like this. So next time it's Father's Day and your wife says you're too hard to buy for, just send her the link for one of these. Well, thanks for watching another episode to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. I have an upcoming episode with something really rare. So rare I had to email the company to confirm that it was real. And please don't forget to check out those 2 links in the description below. And I'll catch you all tomorrow.